At school the next day, Lee Jung Woo hands Kim In Bum the money envelope to handle as he always has. He makes good on his promise to let In Bum remain the authority within the school. Jung Woo's character shows again here. He trusts In Bum without worry of betrayal. If someone were to betray him, he'd simply handle it. Kim In Bum notes that Jung Woo is a real leader and not the type to be stuck under someone. And In Bum isn't stupid enough to not recognize that this will clash with the world that they're in. In class, Yeon Jung-hyun tells Lee Jung Woo about contact from Daishin Public High. They want to form an alliance to fight against Dangyang High and their alliance with Daeti and Kichun High. But Jung Woo declines because of the chance that he may be called into a real fight. Yeon Jung-hyun delivers the word immediately, but after school, Jung Woo is approached by students from Daishin who don't know who he is. When they attempt to pick a fight, they're called off by the leader, the one who requested the alliance, a guy repeating his second year named Jun Hyung-soo. However, when the name Lee Jung Woo rings through the air, it immediately grabs their attention. The student teacher is being a nuisance once again. That's when Hyung-soo realizes that the guy they were just talking to is Lee Jung Woo. Jung Woo tells them that there's nothing good to be gained from becoming friendly with him, a way of telling them to go about their business. Interestingly, when the three students approach, Jung Woo tells the teacher to leave and takes a protective stance without thinking. As Hyung-soo questions Jung Woo about his identity, he gains confirmation from Yeon Jung-hyun as his voice rings from behind. This only strengthens Hyung-soo's resolve. He says that it was Kim Bo-young who pointed him toward Lee Jung Woo. She seems to have a lot of faith in him from their short meeting, but that's no surprise. If Jung Woo had a female equivalent, it's Kim Bo-young. Hyung-soo continues to ask Lee Jung Woo for an alliance, but Jung Woo simply isn't interested. He tells them that, in fact, as he puts his arm around the student teacher and walks off. The onlooking students make noise about the situation as Jung Woo questions why he himself put his arm around her like that. I'll tell you why, my man. It's because you're feeling yourself. You've been blessed with so much confidence by this situation that you forgot that she was your teacher and not your woman. But she doesn't really seem to resist despite questioning the situation. After that, Hyung-soo makes a more sincere attempt. He bows down and apologizes for not recognizing Lee Jung Woo before. And while Jung Woo continues to try and brush this off, he can't overlook this sincere plea. Jung Woo instructs Jung Hyun to tell In Bum to tell everyone to help Daishin High, like a real boss. Jung Hyun has no problem complying. His respect for Jung Woo is piqued. And as Jung Woo turns to leave, he's faced with the student teacher's judgmental glare. She doesn't seem to understand that these aren't just normal students. But Jung Woo puts her on notice. And this time he walks off without putting his arm around her, leaving her standing there bothered. She isn't judging him harshly. This woman genuinely wants to help her students. But it's naive to think you can reach everyone. And maybe that realization is why so many teachers I know gave up. And why I have so much respect for the ones who didn't. Elsewhere, Yeon Jae-sik has grown impatient. He's decided to attack the Hae-sung group, the group they had a battle with before. He's called Jung Woo along with the Jin Woo. As they arrive at the nightclub, the gangsters charge the club and begin attacking whoever they see. Patrons clear the club as Jae-sik decides to enter. However, it's revealed to be a trap. What seemed like an advantage before quickly becomes a situation that they weren't prepared for. When his right-hand man advises him to flee, Jae-sik takes it personally and decides to enter the fight himself. As Lee Jung Woo contemplates entering the fight, Kim Jin-woo doesn't need to take that time. He charges in, laughing like a madman. It's nice to see someone who really understands himself. This is what he does. This is what he likes. Maybe he's the reincarnation of Lu Bu. The level of violence he enacts shocks Jae-sik and his main man. Gangsters. Lee Jung Woo stands back to watch as Kim Jin Woo's presence changes the tide of battle completely. The battle reverses flow once again, and the JC group comes to take down the enemy, as Jin Woo forces his way through to the leader. When he finally catches the man, he batters him before taking him hostage and forcing his men to kneel in order to save his life. As young Jae-seek steps forward to confront the other leader, the name Koo In-chol is mentioned. He seems to be the man above the High Sung group. And as the opposition remains defiant, Jae-seek produces something not often seen in Korea: an arm of fire. He toys with the man a little bit, but when his right-hand man offers to take care of the job for him, Jae-seek calms him down. He isn't a hothead or a moron. He can think of other ways to use the flame. And so he does. He cripples the man, using the arm of fire to leave him with a hot shoulder and ankle, unable to ever fight again. This seems to enlighten Lee Jung Woo a bit as to what he's getting into. The Jae-seek group takes over the nightclub and tells the ousted men that Koo In-chol will have to buy it back if he wants it. On the way out, Jae-seek chastises Jin Woo for recklessly jumping into the fight, since Jin Woo is basically on loan from Busan. It would look bad on Jae-seek if he got hurt. What he doesn't understand, however, is that Jin Woo really doesn't care. He's not going to get hurt because he'll be too busy hurting other people. On the other hand, he asks Jung Woo why he didn't step into the fight himself. Jung Woo's answer reveals who he is. He says that it seemed like they were going to win, so there was no need for him to get involved. However, what young Jae-seek hears is that Lee Jung Woo stood back and analyzed the situation as if he himself were the boss. And his right-hand man, I don't bother memorizing his name, this guy, seems to think that Jung Woo is being arrogant. The reality is, he's a natural leader. And it's as Kim Min-bum said earlier, he isn't the type to be under someone. The reasons why that's a problem are starting to rear their head, and they aren't the only ones who notice. As Lee Jung Woo exits, he receives a text from Yoon Jung Hyun. The fight to help out Hyung Soo of Dong Jin High has been scheduled. It's time for Jung Woo to does what Jung Woo do.